Someone who has a narcissistic personality disorder goes far beyond that momentary fantasy that we might have for ourselves. This grandiosity could be in behavior or in fantasy. That means in their mind. When I first learned about grandiosity, I really understood it as someone who thought themselves to be very grandiose, very special, very superior. Someone who thought more highly of themselves than they ought, if we could say it that way. That's kind of a common explanation for someone who is grandiose. So this would be someone who fantasized about being very important, very special. Let me say it this way though. All of us have fantasies to some degree of being special or being important. I know as a kid I fantasized about being a special person who could be a famous singing artist. I wanted to be a famous singer. Now that in and of itself doesn't necessarily make me a narcissist, because we all have fantasies and dreams of things that we want to be. Maybe a famous dancer, or a famous pilot, or a famous firefighter. We all have some fantasies of something that we want to be. But someone who has a narcissistic personality disorder goes far beyond that momentary fantasy that we might have for ourselves. So beyond the fantasy, someone who struggles with this kind of grandiosity is someone who not only sees themselves as super special or really great or beyond who they are to some degree deluded about who they are. So for example, I knew someone once who described themselves as integrous, honest, and humble. And that sounds like really great qualities. Those sound fantastic. But in time, I came to know that that person was not those three things, absolutely not those things. But he honestly believed that that is who he was. He had this sort of grandiose view of himself, that he was so great and so wonderful, so humble, so honest, and so integrous. But in fact, he was absolutely the opposite of that. He was not those qualities, except for in front of certain people, right? When he knew he was supposed to be that way. But that was not truly who he was at all. And so a grandiose self is an image that they have in their mind of who they believe themselves to be. And no matter how you might bring to their attention that that might not be true, there is no place to see or admit or own that they are not who they believe themselves to be and who they present themselves to be.